It happens to the best of us at times. We get lost. Even trailblazers such as myself can get temporarily disoriented at times. I'm sure that you yourself have experienced trepidation in going to a new destination, such as a distant relative's house. Sure, they gave you directions over the phone, but somehow it just doesn't jibe with where you seem to be heading. All of a sudden, you're in a strange neighborhood, you don't know where you are, and you can't find your way. Rest assured, there are ways to prevent these embarrassing situations. In the next segment, we're going to find out how to use a map and other tricks to keep yourself from getting too far lost. It doesn't have to be a complete mystery. There are ways of figuring out where you're going. All you have to do is keep your eyes open, look for valuable clues, and use a little bit of detective work.
Watson, come quick! I've found it!
Oh, there you are. And here we are. It's really quite elementary. The first rule of finding your way is not to get too far lost in the first place. And this can be accomplished by constantly paying attention to the names of the streets along your way. Just notice the street signs and the freeway ramp signs and keep track of them. Make a mental note of their names. You won't remember them all, but odds are you might remember the last one you saw before getting lost. Highway numbers can be especially helpful, even more so than the names of the highways. For example, with federal interstate highways, designated by a red, white, and blue shield, they are numbered according to the general direction they run. East and west running freeways are even numbered, such as Interstate 10, 40, or 94. Federal highways that run north and south are odd numbered, such as I-5, 55, or 95. At least this gives you some sense of direction. Now, besides noting the names of streets and the numbers, you should also pay attention to your physical surroundings. Look at your environment, and if you notice any tall buildings, a mountain, or an airport, make a mental note of it. In any case, remember where you saw it, and if possible, note the name of this unique environmental feature. It can come in handy when you have to resort to a map. Now, let's say you've done all that, but you still got lost. What's the next thing to do? The next trick is to drive to the nearest marked intersection. When you find two intersecting cross streets on a signpost, you've got it made. Just look up the two names in the index in the back of the map. If several page numbers or grids are given for a common street name, such as Main Street, just use the one grid number which matches the smaller cross street. If all else fails, you can go back to the nearest freeway. And if you find the on-ramp name and you know the freeway number, this can be a big help in figuring out where you are located. This is because some map books even have off-ramp maps with corresponding page or grid numbers. This helps locate you immediately. Once you've done this, then you know where you are. Just like the little red dot at the shopping mall map that proclaims, "You are here," but you still want to get over there. So the next thing to do is orient your map. This is where a compass can come in handy. Just use the compass marking on your map to align it with the compass in your hand. If you don't have a compass, you can always use environmental clues. This is called orienting a map by inspection. Remember when I said to keep track of mountains and tall buildings? If they are shown on the map, such as this airport, just align your map to what you see out your car window. Once you know your map is aligned, you know which direction to drive. But before you start out, you want to know how far to drive. You do not want to pass your destination. Note the scale at the bottom of your map. It will tell you how many miles per inch the map covers. This will give you a ballpark idea of how far you need to drive. As you can see, there are many methods to getting yourself unlost. Let's review them briefly. Keep track of street names. Keep track of highway numbers. Pay attention to your surroundings. And if you do get lost, find the nearest marked intersection, go back to the nearest freeway, orient your map, and figure the distance to be driven. Figuring out the clues to your location can be like unraveling a good whodunit novel. You too can use a little logical deduction to figure out where you are, and you will appear to be a brilliant motorist.